Welcome, everybody, to DWZ Discussions, where we do a lot of discussions on the world of pro wrestling, such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about in the world of pro wrestling, and of course, everything else. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling content, such as reviewing the wrestling shows from AEW, NXT, New Japan, TNA, the NWA, various other promotions, not only here in the States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world. We also do more news updates if we like to keep updates on everything that's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, real timing news updates to keep you guys alert on what's happening, and of course, the Unagi Sayaka Watch, and various cool things as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of wrestling content like this video, but also daily reviews every single day. And of course, if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions are set aside, so let's begin with, of course, the rookie wrestler we know now as Sayaka Kurara. I felt like I want to get that out of the way because I feel the next one is something that's going to be interesting. Welcome, everybody, to DWZ Discussions, where we do a lot of discussions on the world of pro wrestling, such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about in the world of pro wrestling, and of course, everything else. I am your host, J Rod here. So if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling content, such as reviewing the wrestling shows from AEW, NXT, New Japan, TNA, the NWA, various other promotions, not only here in the States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world. We also do more news updates if we like to keep updates on everything that's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, real timing news updates to keep you guys alert on what's happening, and of course, the Unagi Sayaka Watch, and various cool things as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of wrestling content like this video, but also daily reviews every single day. And of course, if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions are set aside, so let's begin with, of course, the rookie wrestler we know now as Sayaka Kurara. I felt like I want to get that out of the way because I feel the next one is something that's going to be interesting. Okay, so who is Sayaka Kurara? What do we know about her? Now, we know that she made her debut last year in December. I think her opponent was none other than Sayaka Mitani. So a lot of things has been very interesting with her. Now, she, along with several other wrestlers who were rookies, such as Hanako, Yuzuki, Rana Yagami, all four of them were the rookies who had no affiliations with any of the other units or factions, such as Stars, Queen's Quest, Cosmic Angels, God's Eye, Oedo Tai, now that the, well, sort of thing like that. But Sayaka Kurara, not much has been very impressed with her since she debuted. But however, it seems that things have changed with her on a certain level, and that change happened when Yuzuki out of nowhere made the most shocking announcement. Now, this happened when all four of the rookies, Hanako, Yuzuki, um, Rana Yagami, and Sayaka Kurara herself, were involved in a match against Stars. I think it was Saida, Hanan, Azuki, and Mayu Iwatani. Yuzuki announced that she wants to join Stars. Reason behind it is because she was admired Mayu Iwatani and put the other rookies in a bit of frustration, more specifically Hanako, who felt that, hey, I'm the one who had more experience than you, and you've been getting all the attention. So that was the whole thing. Sayaka wasn't that much frustrated until her frustration kicked in when Hanako decided to join Micah and form what the unit is now known as EXV, Empress Nexus Venus. And as for Rana Yagami, I said this before, I had a feeling that she was going to join God's Eye, which it did. But the obvious question was with Sayaka Kurara, who will she join? Well, that was a very interesting question. Now, many fans, and that included myself, I would have thought, in my honest opinion, she would join Queen's Quest. And apparently that kind of went out the window. And I think many of you who who follow Sayaka Kurara would have thought the same thing too. I thought so too. But it was back in February 12th of this year. Um, Kurara was in a tag match with Meisira, taking on Yuna Mizumori and Tam Nakano of the Cosmic Angels, but eventually lost when, of course, Kurara was the one who lost to Tam Nakano in the match. However, she even talked to Tam and told her that she wants to join the Cosmic Angels. But however, Yuna Mizumori went out of her way to tell her, like, hey, wait a minute, all this. So she says, you put me through the apprenticeship. She has to do the same thing. But the only difference between that, Yuna had to join was because she had to lose weight. While Kurara, on the other hand, she's a rookie. So basically, she has to prove herself that she is strong. And I think that's a fair assessment. But over time, we have noticed certain things. I mean, Kurara has been very impressive. I mean, she has been throwing the deadliest spears. I mean, she speared Starlight Kid, she speared Micah, she speared varied wrestlers, and many people that are praising her for what she does. But many people believed Kurara might have made the biggest mistake in joining Cosmic Angels. But I said this before on previous episodes. Do you think it was a coincidence that she requested to join Cosmic Angels? Well, that's not that exactly. There's no such thing as coincidence. You can call it fate if you know what I'm talking about. But I'll explain later. I'll explain this right now. My bad. So anyway, Sayaka Kurara did an interview with a group called Count, and she revealed that she saw wrestling for the first time in September of 2022. Kurara at the time was going to school for art, and she was working a job in order to pay her tuition. But in her job, she received a ticket to go to a Stardom show, and that's exactly what she did. And that show was on September 24th of 2022, and that was during the time of the five-star Grand Prix. But later, of course, she said that she enjoyed watching wrestling, and she bought another ticket for another later date. And that particular day was, of course, the five-star Grand Prix finals. And she said the one match that she enjoyed the most, and you probably will guess it. If not, then I'll tell you. That match was between Julia and Tam Nakano. Anybody care to question if that's a coincidence? I would say no, because if she wanted to join the Cosmic Angels, then that was the main reason. Because she saw Tam Nakano on that match. It would make absolute sense. But I wouldn't think that she would make that decision now. But as I said this before, she has been very impressive. Now, she did, of course, went through the Stardom system, trying out, auditioning, all of that. She made her debut on Christmas Day in 2023. So it's pretty cool that she has made that decision. But her joining Cosmic Angels was her way of trying to, she knows that she's been frustrated, and I think Tam Nakano, on the other hand, is taking a liking to her. There were moments I have noticed on the X account. Um, Tam was actually with her, teaching her the Kozen dance, which is the Cosmic Angels dance they normally would do. Yuna Mizumori was noticing how Tam has been treating her. She's been treating her a bit more lenient than she did with Yuna Mizumori, you know. And I'm like thinking, was there something she saw, or did Tam Nakano in fact knows that maybe Kurara was influenced by her? I don't know. That is a good question. I mean, I would love to hear what Tam Nakano would think, because we saw a similar thing with Maya Sakura. Remember, Maya Sakura is a big fan of Julia before she joined Stardom and before joining DDM. But she did stated that the one match that kind of got her into Julia was between her and Sada Uyonoi, which is a wrestler that also Maya Sakurai was impressed by, but Julia was the most impressive one out of the two of them. But however, I started to but recently we did see the arrival of Aya Sakura, but apparently she also made a very shocking statement that I think Kurara put herself in a position to be confused, like what the hell is going on here. So let's talk about Aya Sakura. Okay, so who is Aya Sakura? Now, those who haven't seen her before, she was also a rookie wrestler who made a debut back in March of 2023. She debuted with three other wrestlers, but one wrestler she just disappeared after she was injured. But the wrestler she was teaming with the most was Hanako. Now, uh, Aya Sakura's opponent, her debut match, was against Julia. And Julia was really impressed by her, but at the time, Aya Sakura hasn't decided yet who she'll be teaming. But what I did like about her is her storyline that she had with Waka. Now, I want to put this out. Aya Sakura has a background of martial arts, which is pretty impressive. If you notice, she has that background of martial arts, which was really cool. But however, the one that intrigued me was her storyline towards Waka. Now, what exactly was happening? Well, Sakura mentioned during a press conference for a New Blood event that she declared Waka as a worse instructor. And that put Waka in a put like, what you said? Like she was saying, you show me some respect. But Aya Sakura had no shown of respect towards her because she put out this statement about saying, "You've been watching us how we've been wrestling, but you've been making us look bad on in every level." Even though she lost that match against Waka, Waka has every intention. Like I want to work with her. Like she thinks that she could. How do I say this? Discipline her in her own way. So it would make sense about that. But I feel like Aya Sakura has no love for Waka whatsoever. But, however, many people might have questioned, okay, what faction she would join. Many people have often said possibly Queen's Quest. Others said DDM. But a few maybe numbers said maybe Cosmic Angels. But here's the thing. I want to put this out on record. Ever since uh, before Aya Sakura ended up being injured, this was back in June or in July of 2023. I had a distinct feeling that she was going to join Cosmic Angels, but because of that injury, it must have, I don't know if that put her on hold. But we haven't seen her since then. We know she has been often on social media. She has often comforted Hanako after Hanako was feeling frustrated how things have been going for her with Yuzuki, getting all the attention and somewhat. But when Aya Sakura made her return, we all were happy for her. I mean, I felt that she hasn't missed a beat. I'm glad that she is healthy. She is back on track. But the most surprisingly is that she teamed up with Hanako. I know for a fact that things are not the same with her anymore with Hanako now that she's teamed up with the one person I don't think she wants nothing to do with. Um, she's willing probably to team up with her one last time. And they faced against Mai Sakurai and Sayaka Kurara. The match itself was pretty good. I have to say it was very impressive, but unfortunately, Sakura did not pick up the win because it was she was pinned by Mai Sakurai and picked up the win. However, she did have gave a heartwarming speech thanking the fans on waiting for her to come back. Of course, Mai Sakurai did not like the fact that she felt like she was being upstaged by someone like her. But nonetheless, that's what happened. But the most surprising thing happened is when she called out Aya Kurara and she said this. Let me pull this up on my phone. Yes, this is what she said to her. Let me say one thing. I want to be a regular member of Kozen before Kurara. Thanks in advance. Now, when Kurara said this, she had that face in confusion, like, what? What is she saying? And of course, Hanako, if you guys noticed, she had that look in her face, like, what the hell? Like, what is going on here? And of course, many fans were shocked, and I think many fans in good minds would think this. We know that certain factions have already picked up the rookies. Yuzuki recruited has Yuzuki, Gadzai Rana Yagami, Hanako with EXV, and now recently Sayaka Kurara with Cosmic Angels. Many people might have presumed, okay, now that Aya Sakura is back, that means she will join Queen's Quest. Okay, this is a very interesting thing. I mean, no one expected this coming from her, but I did say that I had that distinct feeling. She probably made her choice to go to Cosmic Angels, but due to the injury, it put that on hold for her. So she actually said this in her post-match comments. Let me pull that up. Yeah, this is what she had to say. First of all, I was thinking about what to say after my match, but I couldn't say it properly. But when I announced my intention to join Cosmic Angels during the match earlier, even I said I was a trainee, or rather, ever since I found out Stardom, I decided that Cosmic Angels was the one and only for me. To be honest, when Kurara, who debuted later, announced at once and became an apprentice, I thought it would be impossible, and there was no position or opening for me to join. But I didn't want to give up announcing it. Since I debuted first, I would like to do my best to become a regular member of Cosmic Angels first. Please provide some support. So it seems like the way it was thought, Kurara has already, Sakura has already made that decision that she wants to join Cosmic Angels, but Kurara already made that choice too. So it's rather strange that two rookies who debuted at different timings, but one already made her decision last month while the other was out on injury, had to watch in the sideline that her possible opening is now taken by someone else. But she's determined not to give up that position. Like she wants to join Cosmic Angels. So I think the real question we need to ask ourselves this question. What does Tam Nakano thinks of this? I mean, she is the leader. Uh, I mean, it's not the first time that Tam Nakano has taken two rookies. I mean, who could forget she took wrestlers who had less experience in wrestling? We're talking about Mai Sakurai and Waka. They both had the same 3 year experience at different timings, and that played out in different timing. We know what happened with Mai Sakurai. She eventually left um, Cosmic Angels back in February of 2020. 1 or 2022. No, 2022. And as for Waka, well, she left Cosmic Angels um, in March of last year, and that kind of put it in a very perspective. But there are fans that are talking about this, that this would be a good opportunity for two rookies to work together. But let's talk about that next because I feel what it would be like to see two rookies join the same faction. Now, the one question we need to ask ourselves, have we ever seen rookies be in the same faction? Well, we have seen it before. One of them was, of course, the Jungle Assault Nation, Jan, which was ran by Jungle Kiona. If you guys remember, the Hanan sisters were in the same group. So was the Hanan, Rina, and Hina. Now, we all know what happened to all three of them after Jungle Assault Nation was disbanded. Uh, Rina ended up going with Hana Kimura's faction, the International Squad or something like that. Uh, then, of course, what later became the Tokyo Cyber Squad. Hanan joined Stars, and then, of course, Hina, Queen's Quest. So it's no secret we've seen something like that before. But having two rookies join the Cosmic Angels, we have seen that with Masakurai and Waka. Now, of course, if these ladies did not come from the Stardom Dojo, but at least they were in the same learning curve ever since then. They were still in that 3 year experience, and that played out pretty well. But having Aya Sakura and, of course, Sayaka Kurara join, that's a different story. These two ladies came from the same system in different timings. So it would make sense about that. But I asked myself, what does Tam make of this? Now, I'm sure she took a liking of Kurara, but I'm sure she would probably want to have a little chit chat with Aya Sakura on her attentions. Like, she probably would question, why now? Why did you wait it after all this time? You could have joined Cosmic Angels if you wanted to, but you chose to wait until now. But, however, we have one who already joined recently. Now, I'm sure Tam Nakano would not want to get rid of one or the other. I think she would rather hear their case. Now, if, like I said before, if Tam Nakano was aware of Sayaka Kurara's saying that she was influenced by the match that she had with Julia back in the finals of the 5-star Grand Prix, it would make sense a lot about her. But Aya Sakura, we're yet to understand why did she chose them. What was her purpose of joining Cosmic Angels? Now, one thing I thought in my mind throughout the entirety, I would have thought maybe she joined Cosmic Angels because maybe she just wants to get away from Wako or to upset her, but there must have been some other reason. She did say she chose it, but she never had the chance to make that official statement yet. So we're yet to see. Now, many fans have often say this would be interesting to see two rookies in the same unit, but there are those that are saying, it would be interesting to see those two team up and win the new Blood Tag Team titles. I mean, that is a good opportunity to have two rookies to win the belt. I mean, people would have assumed it would be Kurara with Mizumori, but I mean, it's not a far fetched idea. But I think this is going to be a perfect opportunity for it because here's the thing. If you look at Queen's Quest, you have like three of the core members. You have Utami, Azumi, and Kamitani. They have more experience, but you look at wrestlers in their ranks like Lady C, Hina, and Miyu Amasaki. They have a little bit more of the less experience. We could see a somewhat similarity between what Queen's Quest has, what Cosmic Angels could have in their camp, and that's something we could definitely see. But the real question is, how will Tam Nakano and the rest of the Cosmic Angels address this? I'm sure Natsupoi has been dying to work with Kurara to learn more about her. But now with Aya Sakura making this statement, I think many of us are kind of curious to see. Now, as I said before, I don't think Tam Nakano is the type of person to drop one and gain another. I think she would rather hear everyone's side of the story. If she I know some people would say, but it's wrong that she takes two rookies. I mean, Queen's Quest should have a rookie for themselves, but we need to ask ourselves, have they been interesting? I don't see Oedo Tai having interesting any of the rookies. I mean, recently there is another rookie that made debut, but not yet. She hasn't been impressed, and that one is called Rian. So we haven't seen much about her. But if Tam Nakano does take um, uh, Sakura and of course Kurara together, I'm sure, of course, possibly Rian could go to Queen's Quest. That's something we could see. But as what we know now, we just don't know just yet. But I am curious about how this is going to go with, of course, with both rookies. I mean, Kurara, I know she has a lot to think about. I know she's determined to improve in herself. I mean, ever since joining Cosmic Angels as an apprentice, have made her stronger. And of course, Tam Nakano has been paying attention, been watching her, and she's been very impressed with her. Like she's saying, I like her fighting spirit. I mean, there's a whole lot that I don't know about her, but I'm liking it. And she feels like maybe she sees something in her. But we're yet to see what Tam has to say about Sakura, because we haven't heard why. Why did she make this decision now after coming back from an 8 month injury? So we'll see what happens. I think many of you are curious to see. I'm curious to see. I think the rest of the Stardom world will like to see what's going to happen now. So I think that's pretty much it for everything on this discussion. I believe let's try to call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this discussion video. I know there's a lot of questions regarding about, of course, what's going to happen now that we now know that Aya Sakura had made this decision. She wanted to join Cosmic Angels prior before injury, but now we have Sayaka Kurara who joined recently as an apprentice. But we will see what happened. I'm sure we're all expecting Tam Nakano to make her decision or hear what's going to happen. But for our next episode, in case anybody's asking, we are going to do more with New Japan Cup. I think we're in day 5. I think we're entering the next rounds of the match. I think second rounds. We also have, of course, the much recent show by PPP Tokyo. This show was produced by Chanyota, which I'm kind of curious to say. We do have the JCW March Madness, and we have yet to see the other shows such as MLW, Circle 6, and of course the much recent shows with GCW. I may have to pull up on those shows on GCW at, at another time. But for right now, I want to focus what I can do at the moment. I'm thinking of putting New Japan, JCW, oh yeah, and Noah and PP Tokyo as a priority. But we just gotta wait and see. I just gotta wait and see what's gonna happen. But for now, I will see you guys on the next episode. So I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye and have a nice day. Bang.